The reason we shouldn't fear Trump's America is because it is based on very real concerns of real people. The silent minority that played such a pivotal role in Trump's election still exist. They still have the same concerns. They still feel neglected. This is Trump's America, an America where, for better or for worse, the neglected minority feel heard. Madam President, honourable members of the House, and esteemed guests, can I begin by thanking you, Madam President, for the great honour of giving me a paper speech in this chamber. I want to start my speech with a simple, undeniable fact. On November the 8th, 2016, America, the world, changed in ways that previously could never have been as imaginable, it could never have been seen as imaginable with the election of Donald J. Trump. A new America was ushered in, Trump's America. I want to move now to a second proposition, a proposition I will seek to expand upon and indeed prove in my speech today, that with the election of Joe Biden, Trump's America did not just cease to exist pending a potential future return of President Trump, but it instead morphed into a new socio-political creature, one that the left, and in fact all elements of the political spectrum, must learn to tame and in fact embrace in order to navigate the politics of America today. Fear is not the right response to Trump's America. But before I do this, it falls upon me to introduce the speakers on the proposition bench. Firstly, you've just heard from Izzy Horrocks-Taylor. I was surprised to see Izzy on the proposition bench for this debate, as I was under the distinct impression that she liked blonde men. Admittedly, I haven't seen the latest editions of Bridge TV, so maybe that isn't the case anymore. Irrespective of this, Izzy is a very hard-working member of Standing Committee and recently organised the excellent Bonfire Social. I can't think of anyone more deserving than the privilege of a paper speech. Secondly, we have April Ryan, a journalist with the experience of covering 5 different presidential administrations and one-on-one interview experience with giants of modern American politics, such as Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and George W. Bush. But what is less known about her is that she began her media career as a jazz DJ. Madam President, all I can say is I think we missed a real opportunity with the term card. Finally, we have Larry Sanders, brother of Bernie Sanders. Larry has an intrinsic link to Oxford, having served on the county council from 2005 to 2013. A member of the Green Party, he shares similar socialist ideals to his transatlantic brother. The UK has a bit of history with socialist brothers. With Jeremy Corbyn and his less well-known conspiracy theorist brother Piers, all I hope tonight is that we're hearing from the more sensible of the two. Madam President, these are your guests, and they are most welcome. Moving to the substance of my speech, let's start with some basics. Defining what makes Trump's America so different. According to Pew Research, the partisan divide worsened significantly, with averages of 86% of Republicans approving of his time as president, compared to an average of 6% of Democrats, which is the widest partisan gap of presidential approval in the modern era. This manifested in underlying change in attitudes and values. In 1994, the average gap between Republicans and Democrats on a series of values questions was 15 points. By the first year of Trump's reign, this has doubled to 36 points. But what issues specifically does Trump's America care about? Unlike presidents of old, Trump has very little approval for his behaviors and personal character, even amongst his own voters. After all, how can we forget some of the amazing tweets that came from the former president, ranging from "no mercy to terrorists, you dumb bastards," to pointing out that, as Izzy pointed out earlier, his nuclear button was much bigger and more powerful than Kim Jong-un's. It shouldn't really come as a shock that 89% of voters in a poll said they backed Trump because of the issues. For Trump voters, the economy, violent crime, and immigration are the key issues they think of when going to vote. These are core issues, not too different from why voters may vote for the Tories or Labour in the UK. But on these issues, Trump and the Democrats are far apart. A question does remain, though. Just how did Trump win an election in 2016, come close to winning the election in 2020, and still remains a very viable candidate in 2024, despite all his obvious and well-accepted character flaws? The answer is simple: his unique base. Trump has a very strong base with white voters without college degrees, or people who are otherwise working class. In America, apathy in these groups are high. Take Pennsylvania as an example, where an estimated 2.4 million non-college educated white voters did not cast ballots in 2016. This group makes up a significant proportion of America's population. One could even say they're a silent minority. Trump's America was partially created and forged by this very group, a group that up until 1996 pretty evenly shared their votes between Republicans and Democrats, a group that has slowly but surely been drifting rightwards. This might seem familiar to many of the Brits in the chamber. It might remind you of something else that happened in 2016, the Brexit referendum. The Brexit referendum was fueled in large part by the dissatisfaction of the working classes across Britain with the ruling class, where it was on issues of immigration, sovereignty, or even rules, regulations, and trade. They found a unifying cause that they felt represented them. It was a similar story for our transatlantic neighbors. In fact, by most political commentators, it was regarded as the same anti-establishment geopolitical trend. We saw in the 2019 general election how the Brexit referendum wasn't a storm in a teacup, but a new political dividing line for parties of all colors, drawing an entirely new political map, with the Conservatives famously taking red wall seats. But this has had a very different impact than Trump on the state of British politics. 62% of British people now want Britain to rejoin the European Union, whereas in America, in 5 of 6 key swing states, Trump leads, according to a New York Times poll. Brexit did draw dividing lines. It did awake a sense of deep political frustration. What it didn't do is create a sustained new political reality. America now faces a reality where Trump's influence is pervasive. But why, you might be asking, should this provoke anything other than fear? All the facts I've established so far merely demonstrate that Trump's influence over America and his core base remains, and that it hasn't went away merely because of his election loss. The reason we shouldn't fear Trump's America is because it is based on very real concerns of real people. The silent minority that played such a pivotal role in Trump's election still exist. They still have the same concerns. They still feel neglected. This is Trump's America, an America where, for better or for worse, the neglected minority feel heard. We cannot allow our feelings about Trump to cloud reality. The reality of the situation is that any political force that wants to have a real impact will have to listen to these concerns. That means we cannot fear the reality of Trump's America. We cannot fear the reality that there is a significant but otherwise silent minority that feels listened to by the rhetoric and positions of President Trump. Trump's America is real. It's here, and it's not just the way that Trump governs. It's the very attitudes and values of a significant portion of the people of the United States. I want to conclude my speech with a message to those who oppose Trump, who might be thinking about voting with the proposition tonight. Fearing Trump's America, fearing the people who made Trump president, will achieve nothing. It will divide the United States further and make Trump an even more feasible political figure. If you really want to overcome Trump's America, you must embrace it rather than fear it. Thank you.